All right, so welcome everyone. Nice to have you here. Welcome to everyone listening on SoundCloud too. Today we have another question from Mike. Okay, so he asks, do you have some advice on what to do when you feel spiritually exhausted? I am talking about the self-made pressure that arises from trying not to suffer. There's a sense that I shouldn't suffer because I'm spiritual and know a lot about spiritual things. Sometimes I just feel that my mind wants to bully me and eat me alive. Knowing that all things are impermanent, empty, or not existing from their own side doesn't help at all in this situation. I feel like waiting for the magic moment when everything clicks into place, but I'm afraid it might never happen. Okay, so for those of you who are already for a little while practicing meditation or, I don't know, reading spiritual books or these kind of things, and being kind of devoted to your practice, you will notice that these kind of sensations come up quite regularly. Sensations of feeling that we exhaust ourselves. I think that's generally what we do. It's basically, that's life. Exhausting ourselves until we die. Or constantly chasing something, constantly trying to achieve something, becoming a someone. That's very stressful. And we don't even notice just how stressful it is because we have no contrast. We don't really know deep, deep relaxation. We know a lot of doing. We're very versatile. We know we can do many things, without a doubt. We can build airplanes. We can fly to places. We can build a smartphone. It's pretty much of a miracle what we can do, and we're busy doing all the time, right? As you notice, even right now, we might be in an attitude of doing, as a doer. We are here as a doer, as someone that is trying to get something. Someone is trying to understand. We somehow feel almost as if we are an unfinished person that needs to be finished, that needs to come to some sort of happy end. I mention that quite often. Where is my happy end? What do I need to do to get to my happy end? What does the world need to do to get to the happy end? It's a famous topic of movies, isn't it? All these kind of movies, they're based on this kind of threat, the story, and then the hero rises and destroys the enemy, and then the happy end. The movie doesn't go any further than that, right? And then they marry and happy end. What happens after, right? What happens? What's next? They marry and then? We don't really want to know. That is a nice happy end. Let the movie come to an end. It's fine. We can all go home and feel good. Right? And so we have this kind of attitude towards ourselves also, towards our life. And it doesn't really matter what you are doing, whether you are completely a worldly bloke, only interested in material stuff, or whether you're a very spiritual, airy-fairy person, only interested in spiritual stuff. It doesn't matter. It's the same attitude. I need to get something. I need to become someone that is a certain way. I have this image of how I should be, how it should be. And we all have it. How I should be, how life should be, how everyone should be. Sometimes awkward silence, and we try to get out of that silence. Sometimes we don't know what to say, then we try to, what could I say next? It's always trying to get out of this moment for the sake of attaining hopefully better next moment. Sometimes we feel that better moment which is ahead is very far away. It takes me many years to get there. And sometimes it feels very close by. Just 10 more minutes. And then, I hope this meditation ends soon. I just can't sit anymore. My back is killing me. How much longer? I don't want to be loving and kind to my body. I just want to stop. We just want to get out of this. We say no to this moment, trying to get to the next. You could actually say, really, that this entire world is one big no to this moment. And we say nice words. We say, it's progress. If we will get there eventually, one big happy world where everyone is happy all the time, we will get there. We just need to do the right stuff, right? But yeah, look at the world. It's like this, isn't it? And if we want something that is unrealistic, then we suffer. We are not accepting the way it is. We are not seeing actually the way it is. We can't learn from the way it is, so we don't grow. So we are kind of in a vicious cycle where we're doomed to repeat the same stuff over and over and over again, collectively as a human race, individually, in families, in villages. It's the same thing over and over again. A problem, we need to find the solution. And once we have the solution, a next problem pops up. We need to find the solution. It just goes on and on endlessly. You should look at your own life, right? You notice that you do a lot of things and you did a lot of things already, right? You surely all did many things. So the doing will never come to an end. The problem is if we feel that the doing will lead to an end. It will lead to some sort of final state of happiness. Whether you're a spiritual person that thinks in spiritual terms and says, I need to just meditate much more, then I will eventually be calm enough, happy enough, and it will not work out. Meditation is not about accumulating stuff. It's about knowing the way it is and kind of making peace with the way it is. It's not about what Mike mentions here. It's about like knowing emptiness and knowing impermanence of everything, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help for me neither. It doesn't help. If I'm approaching it as a means to an end, if I feel like, I only need to see into the impermanence of things long enough, so then eventually I come to that nice click state that he mentions, when everything clicks into place, and we're waiting for that fairy tale happy end. And whether it's in spiritual practice or in your job, your relationship, your health, your life. When is the happy end coming? How does your story end? When will you finally get it? I wonder all the time. I wonder, when will I actually get it? I sit down and I meditate. I'm meditating a lot. And nothing happens. It's sometimes really frustrating, It's like I've been doing this for years and years and just nothing seems to happen, really. Sure, there's some calmness and there's some happiness also in that meditation, but then I come back into the world after the meditation and things are just the same way as they always are. They go round and round and round. So there is occasional rest, and then there is occasional excitement. That's just the way it is. So over the years, my practice has changed from expecting to get somewhere with what I do to being here and to making peace with the way it is. Another word for the way it is truth. So how is it? Are you annoyed? Are you impatient? Are you anxious, fearful? It's like this. Look at it. See it clearly. This is the root of all problems in this world. It is worthy
looking at. All the problems in this world, all the misery, it comes from there, from the heart, from the mind. From minds that are not seen, that are not understood, that can kind of operate in the background, in the darkness, and do their thing. Run your life, run the show for you, and you don't even know. So most people live on autopilot, just ruled by their habits, by their patterns, reacting to life. Whatever happens to them, they just react. They don't even know what's going on, like this. Like you don't know what's going on when you go into a supermarket. I really love that example. I said it before in all these recordings. You're bound to repeat yourself, but I just mention it again anyways. If you go through a supermarket, right? There's people who invest billions of dollars for you to make special choices. If you look at the shape of a cart of a supermarket, for example, just look at the shape of it. Have you never wondered why it's that particular shape? There's a reason behind that. It's quite freaky, actually. If you look at that shape, it becomes thinner in the front, right? And it's kind of broader in the back, closer to you. It's almost like, like you have this horizon line. It's kind of a disappearing. The card, basically, it makes it look longer than it actually is. It's like an optical illusion. It works on the subconscious level. It makes the card look longer than it is. Then there's this kind of little angle in the card on the bottom, right? That kind of falls down to you, towards you. So if you put something in the front, it slides back. So there is much more space in the front. You can put more stuff in. In some supermarkets, they go to great lengths. They would design carts that are really hard to push, but the more stuff you put in, the easier it gets to push them. I kid you not. This is serious stuff. It exists. There's big websites like Amazon and stuff like this. They run tests. They change like a few pixels on their side. They change the color of a few pixels. And they send it out to 90,000 people or 900,000 people that are living in a certain demographic area, and then you send another kind of color to another kind of demographic. They run these tests and they see where do they get most feedback. Where do they get more clicks? They spend a lot of money studying your behavior and adjusting themselves so that you do make the right choices. Think of news, watching the news. What does it do to you? Who wants that the news do that to you? Who has an interest invested in those news? Think about it. There's some people behind it, they aim for a particular reaction in the population. People are not stupid who are doing news. This is a particular reaction that we aim for. And then we feel free and we feel that we have choices when most of our choices are totally conditioned, when most of our decisions and so forth are completely conditioned. They come from our upbringing, from the media we consume, they come from what you see around you, etc. And we feel like a sense of, I have freedom and so forth. It keeps us sort of going. It's quite a shocker, if you really contemplate that. You can come to the point where you see that there's two ways. You can fight and stress out about this incredibly complex universe being the way it is. Or you can relax. You can also stress out about relaxation. It's possible. I've been doing it many times. Stressing out about my meditation not producing the results it should produce. I should have gotten there by now. I'm still not there. I feel far away from enlightenment. I feel far away from any real big bang inside. I must be doing something wrong. And yes, you can say I'm doing something wrong. And The wrong move here is I'm not relaxing. Do you notice? I'm stressing out about my meditation. And why? Because there's thinking. It's that simple. All stress that we experience, it comes mostly from thinking. Just thinking. And when the thinking goes on, it's like a good movie that goes on. It's very captivating. And it feels like it's you, the inner voice in your head. It feels like you are that talker. You are talking there, right? It's like, yeah, man, I need to get there. Still not, I'm so distracted today. Gosh. I just screw this meditation. Forget it. I'm quitting. Tomorrow I won't sit anymore. It's too difficult. I can't seem to get myself together. Been trying for so long. All that is thinking, isn't it? And so here the challenge is to actually notice, just thinking. It's almost like waking up from a movie for that second, split second, go, oh, wow, it's just a movie, and I've been sitting here totally upset, in tears and caught up, really caught up in the movie. And isn't the mind like so much worse? It's in your head, it's your head movie. It's a spiritual drama that goes on, in that case of Mike, and also my own case. I can really relate to what Mike says. 100% I can feel what he says. I'm going through these kind of emotions on a regular basis. God, I just quit and nothing is happening, all that. But what has changed over the time? Well, something, of course, has changed. I mean, you're not just ending up like a spiritual wreck after a while, right? So you're doing that practice for the sake of happiness, for the sake of peace, for the sake of joy. And if that is not increasing, sure, it means we're doing something wrong. Namely, we're not seeing, we're not relaxing. We're not seeing, we're not knowing the way it is, and we're not letting go of it. We're not leaving it alone. We're still here as a sort of a doctor. I am the doctor of reality, and I'm going to doctor my reality just the right way. So until I'm performing like this surgery on myself, isn't it? We're sitting down and then we start surgery. And that hurts. It's so unkind. As unkind as it could get. You sit down and you basically take out your spiritual knife and you start cutting away bits and pieces of yourself that are unpleasant. And then what? You end up exhausted because you're cutting away from yourself. You're not acknowledging, you're not seeing yourself. You're fighting yourself. So in these cases here, when that is the case, like this kind of spiritual exhaustion, I recommend to just do nothing. Stop the meditation. It doesn't work like that. You can sit on a park bench and listen to the birds instead. Much more healing. Just listen to the birds until there's nothing but the birds. Just enjoy. For meditation to work, you need to be happy. It's funny that way around. You don't hear that very often. We hear like, meditation will make you happy. Yes, it's true. But you don't get happiness if you're not happy at the start. You want to be happy. That's why it's important before you really practice meditation also to cultivate a good, wholesome lifestyle. A lifestyle that is based on gratitude, being thankful for what you have. Cultivate that. Look at yourself. What do you like? What is it comes to mind right now for all of you guys? 3 things that you hate about yourself. That you don't like about yourself. Pretty easy for most. I get them right away. Now 3 things that you really genuinely like about yourself. That's mostly harder for people. If you make the list for 10 things, then it's still easier to find 10 faults of yourself, right? And the 10 nice things about yourself. It's not so easy. Why? Because we're not trained properly. We haven't received the training that helps us to appreciate and love ourselves. This is not a topic that you learn at school, how to love yourself. You learn how to do a lot, but you don't know how to love yourself for who you are. We learn something like, once you do enough, then you deserve to be loved. So we're all running and running and running and running, and then we die. Trying and trying and trying and trying, and then we're fighting, and then die. So what can we do? Well, introduce the art of doing nothing. Leaving everything alone. You sit down somewhere. Just don't even bother to sit cross-legged. It's too fancy already. Just sit somewhere comfortably and open up to the way it is. There's nothing to do. Just see what's going on right now. And then can you give that space? Can you allow it? Can you allow your own fear to be there? Can you allow your insecurity to be there? Can you host yourself, in other words? Or are you at war with parts of yourself? Then I guarantee those parts will be at war with you. It's a very unpleasant situation like this. What you fight, isn't it? This is saying what you resist, it persists. Like that. You're fighting, you're resisting something, you get counter-resistance. Is there anyone that fights here? You're a fighter? Yeah. So you know that if you're calm, peaceful, and relaxed, there's no fight. But if you resist, if you push, then there is counter-push, isn't there? If you push against anyone, if you push the cat will lean against your push, right? And yourself, parts of yourself are exactly like this. If you lean against your anger, it leans back against you. And that's the pain. If you lean against the fact that you know nothing, you want to know it all, then you're unrelaxed. You're unhappy about the fact that you know nothing. You're not relaxed about it. What's the difference between a master, so someone that has really mastered meditation, and someone that's at the beginning? The beginner wants to be a master. He's uncomfortable being a beginner. A master is just comfortable being a beginner, you know. It's quite a difference. We don't need to be anything else but a beginner anymore. So it's comfortable. It's kind of being honest with yourself, receiving yourself with utmost honesty. No pretense. I am like this. And it's fine. It's such a relief. And I'm discovering that just today I found out something about myself. That I have this kind of people-pleasing pattern inside of me. I love to please people. Okay? That's devastating. It's very painful, actually. And it has served me so much pain in my entire life. And I discovered this kind of today. It was this kind of flash. This inside, wow, I'm a people pleaser. Okay, so what to do with that? Accept. It's a part of my humanity, isn't it? I'm a human being. There's a certain facets that are there. So my job is to do nothing about it, but to accept it with love. And that allows it to melt. Your warmth, your kindness, is melting away all the things that you're clashing into, right? Normally, it almost feels like, you know, your parts that are neglected and disapproved, they come and they crash into you. It's almost, there it is again. There's the anger again. There's the spiritual exhaustion again. I still don't know nothing. Oh, all my knowledge is just only intellectual. I wish I would be more accomplished. When that comes up, well, receive it with kindness. Allow it to be there. Make friends with it. Give it a warm space. See what happens. Treat your anger like a good old friend. When it comes up next time, you can talk with it, actually. You can have communication with your emotions. Did you know that? It requires just a little bit of silence, a quiet moment. You sit down, and if you're angry, you can ask your anger questions, and it will reply, it will answer. And you can make friends with your anger, because now we are relating to our anger as an enemy. I shouldn't be angry, I should be spiritual. And then we have this kind of glorious image of me being spiritual. Like that kind of floating Tobi in white robes with a long beard. That's the ideal me, that's what I need to be. And anything else, oh, anger, no, that doesn't fit into my glorious picture of myself. So if I get angry, what happens? I fight. I'm uncomfortable. I'm deeply uncomfortable. If you like to please people, if there are any people pleasers here like me, then you will notice, for example, it's just so many people have it, right? You will notice that it's so difficult and stressful because we're holding up an image of ourselves and present that to other people. So here is what I want you to like about me, and it is so stressful maintaining that image in front of other people. And it is such a pain when someone discovers that behind the image there's a whole lot of anger and unspiritual things. Now what you consider to be unspiritual, right? Anger and jealousy and all that kind of stuff. It's all there. And it's been all denied, it's all kind of in the back pocket. I deny that. This is not me. You see, you're cutting away a big part of yourself. And anger is not a bad guy, really. He's lovely. Just look at him. And you just need to really look. And you need to have the eyes to look. If you look at the puppy dog, you like puppy dogs? Like little kittens and puppy dogs, everyone likes it, right? So if you see like a little puppy dog, or like a little kitten or something like this, Marco, you like fish, right? Little tiny fish. So if you see a little tiny fish, you feel like kind of, that's cute, like something in you melts. You're becoming spacious in that moment and open. That's why pets are such a blessing. They love you unconditionally. They make you open up. They make you just, you can put your adult mask aside for a few minutes and just play with your pet and forget yourself. So nice. So they make you open up. They make you become warm and spacious. Can you see your anger with the same eyes? It's just as cute. There's a little anger that's just moving in your body. It's moving around there. If you can manage to welcome it with the same attitude as you would welcome a cute puppy and play with it. Hello, anger. I know you're there. I know you're a part of myself. So you go and play. I'm just watching you. It's almost like a little boy that puts on like this kind of Iron Man mask and looks like he's going to kill you, right? He's running towards you and says, I'm going to kill you. I'm Iron Man. But you look through the mask. You say, the mask is scary. But the one that's behind the mask is quite cute. It's just a tiny little boy. And your anger wants precisely just one thing. It wants to be loved. Your jealousy wants just one thing. It wants to be loved. Those who are the loudest need the most. Those are the most aggressive people. They need the most. They need a lot of love. That's why they're so loud. They're screaming for it. It oozes out of their pores. Like a black hole. I need this kind of affection and love from other people. I need attention, But if it is based on this kind of persona, which is a people pleaser or something. And this is like a black hole. You never get enough. You never see what you get, actually. Same is true for this kind of urge to, I need to be a more spiritual person, or I don't understand it, or I have aversion towards my meditation. Take that aversion into your practice and allow it to be there. Make friends with it. Talk with it. You don't have to be perfectly silent and look into the impermanence and the emptiness of the aversion and forget that. That's not the point. Just first of all, can you allow it? Can you give it some space? So here is a little step-by-step kind of thing that I do. When I feel aversion or unhappiness or whatever, the first thing I do is I feel it. I really acknowledge that this is there right now. Right now I'm really pissed. I'm really angry. So I notice, okay, there's this anger. Now the second thing I do is I feel that sense of spaciousness around the anger. Have you ever done that? Can you feel right now the space around your body? It's very intuitive. Can you sense the space around your body? Try. Just sensing the space around your body. Some of you might be able to do. Don't be too intellectual about it. Just approach it like very intuitively. Just feel into it. It's the same way you can feel a space around your anger, around your pain, around your hurt. Feel that space. And eventually you will also feel that space is kind of pervading the anger. That the anger itself is quite spacious. There's nothing really substantial there. And then you allow that to be there and you smile at it. You see it like a little puppy dog. It is allowed to dance there. It's nothing but an energy. And it's kind of trapped. So leave it. Just give it space, more and more space. The more space you give it, the less it is trapped. The less it is trapped, the less pain there is. So what Mike is describing here, for me in my own practice, that is also a clear sign that I'm too heavy on the development of wisdom and concentration in particular. It's my practice is like too much iron, too much kind of sterile mindfulness and knowing of stuff. There's the aspect of warmth and kindness is not there. So in Mike's case, I would recommend to just practice a lot of kindness. And for anyone in general who has stuck in the path, like, oh God, I can't see into the impermanence. I'm feeling stuck. I know everything intellectually, but I don't know it by feeling. When that happens, you need kindness, a lot of it, loads and loads of love. Can you feel that you receive your body with a loving attitude, a kind, warm attitude? Just looking at it. See how cute it is, just sitting there. Get some sort of warmth towards yourself. Your mind, all your various mental states, receive them with this same kind of friendliness and warmth. Train yourself. It takes a while to access that, it takes a while to discover it for yourself, but it's well worth it. Okay, so this is the idea. And another step you can do is retrain the mind. Once you receive your anger and your frustration, all that within kindness, and it dissolves and melts, then you retrain. You rebuild something that's a bit more skillful, a bit more wholesome. It's like, I really enjoy doing meditation or something. And keep saying that to yourself. I really enjoy doing nothing. Maybe you don't want to use the word meditation. You say, I enjoy doing nothing. I enjoy just being here. I forgive myself. I love myself. Thank you for being here. And you be creative. You know what you need to tell yourself. You know what you need the most. You know what you need to hear. Give it to yourself so you don't have to ask it from other people. It makes a huge difference. Kindness makes a big difference. It actually encourages wisdom, makes it grow. Some people think, oh, it's just kindness. It's kind of a low-level practice. I'm interested in the higher-level practice, concentration, wisdom, focus, clarity of mind, stillness, peace, looking into emptiness, understanding myself. But be kind to yourself, first of all. That's really important. All right? So that's all that comes to mind for today. As usual, it's a broad topic, like all the topics that are coming up here. And my knowledge personally is quite limited about this, but so I share only these kind of little things that just come to mind. And I hope in any way that it's helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.